Imagine a world where gold isn't the only currency. Here, dust and silk weave the destiny of empires. Welcome to Samarkand, the beating heart of the Silk Road in the 14th century. Located in southeastern Uzbekistan, it is among the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Central Asia. The air here is heavy. It smells of cumin, dry sweat, and the electric hum of 1,000 languages. You hear it before you see it, the rhythmic clang of the blacksmith's hammer. This is not just a market. It is a collision of worlds. Look at the tiles. That shade of blue? It didn't exist in Europe. It was a secret kept by the stars. Walking through the Registan is like walking inside a kaleidoscope of prayer and prophet. The silk is so light it could fly, carried from the east to dress the kings of the west. But every shadow in these alleys holds a price, and every merchant has a story they died to protect. Samarkand wasn't just built on trade. It was fueled by the pursuit of the heavens. Deep in the clay ovens, the legendary naan bread is born. So hard it could survive a 1,000-mile journey. In the shade of the chaikhanas, deals that reshape maps are sealed over a single cup of green tea. Listen closely to the rattle of silver dinars, the sound of power changing hands. 4,000 miles of treacherous terrain serve as a lifeline connecting the dragon palaces of the east to the marble-clad harbors of the Mediterranean in the west. Through the frozen Pamir Mountains and the scorching Karakum sands, crossing the domains of the Great Han, the Persian kings, and the Roman legions, Samarkand stood as the pivot. It was the golden junction where the world met to share its secrets. You are no longer a traveler. You are a witness to the greatest story ever told. This is Samarkand, and your journey begins now. If you're ready to uncover the secrets of the past, join our journey by subscribing and liking this video. Now, let us step into the chaos of the Great Bazaar. Chapter 1. The Vibrant Chaos. To understand Samarkand, you must first understand the power of a single thread. For the Han emperors, silk was more than fabric. It was a state secret punishable by death. While China held the secret, the West held the hunger. In Rome, silk was literally worth its weight in gold. But a desert stood between them, a void that only the boldest dared to cross. Samarkand was the miracle, a city of water and shade in a world of fire and dust. Step inside its beating heart, the Great Bazaar. Samarkand wasn't just a city that hosted a market. It was a city built as a market, a massive terminal for the world's most precious cargo. At its core lies the Chorsu, the Four Roads, a domed junction where the arteries of China, India, and Europe meet in a single stone hall. This was the world's first global stock exchange. Here, the fate of an empire could be decided by the closing price of a single bag of saffron. Here, the air is thick with the scent of saffron, the red gold of the mountains. A single pound of this spice cost more than a merchant's life. Next to it, black pepper from the south, known as the black gold of the oceans. In the 14th century, a bag of pepper could buy a castle in Europe. Here, it was just another Tuesday. Listen to the percussion of the bazaar. The language of trade is universal. Chinese merchants, their eyes sharp from the long journey, inspect Central Asian horses. These heavenly horses were the tanks of the ancient world. China traded its best silk just to own them. Move deeper into the silk quarter, where the light itself seems to turn into liquid gold. This is Atlas silk, woven with patterns that mimic the flow of rivers and the secrets of the soul. A merchant tests the quality. If it doesn't pass through a ring, it isn't Samarkand silk. Further on, the scent changes. Sharp, medicinal, exotic. These are the resin stalls, carrying frankincense and myrrh brought from the southern tip of Arabia. These resins were the perfumes of the gods and the healers of the plague. But the bazaar is also a trap for the unwary. Look closely at the shadows. Counterfeiters, spies, assassins. Trade is a dangerous game where information is more valuable than tea. To navigate this chaos, you need a guide. Like a young street urchin who knows where the real silk is hidden, away from the tourist traps in the deep cellars. Down here lies the imperial yellow silk, reserved for those who rule the sun. In Samarkand, everyone is a gambler, betting their lives on the next caravan. Caravans that might never return, lost to the Taklamakan, the desert of no return. Yet, they keep coming because the profit is too high. This is the first globalization, a world connected by a thread. Every knot is a story, every pattern is a map. But the bazaar is only the beginning. To find the soul of the Silk Road, we must look at the hands that create. In our next chapter, we go beyond the stalls to the secret workshops of the masters. Chapter 2. The Master Artisans. To find the soul of Samarkand, we must follow the rhythm of the river, away from the bazaar's roar. Along the banks of the Siab stream, the air changes. It is cool, damp, and filled with a rhythmic thumping. This is the heartbeat of the world's first industrial district, the Samarkand paper mills. Legend says this secret was won in blood in 751 AD, when Chinese prisoners traded the art of paper for their lives. But Samarkand didn't just copy the East, they revolutionized it. While the world struggled with fragile papyrus, these artisans turned to the skin of the mulberry tree. Look at the hands of the masters. They soak the bark until it is soft as silk, then beat it into a pulp using water-powered hammers. It takes hours of relentless rhythm. The fibers must be broken, separated, and reborn. The pulp is captured on fine wooden screens, emerging as wet, translucent sheets under the Central Asian sun. But the final secret is a stone, agate. Each sheet is polished by hand until it shines like ivory. The result is a paper so smooth it invited the finest calligraphy, and so durable it could last 1,000 years. It was on this paper that the secrets of algebra, astronomy, and poetry were preserved for the Western world. If paper is the city's mind, then the carpet is its memory. Move now to the quarter of the weavers. Inside, the light is filtered through dust and colored by 1,000 natural dyes. Notice the cauldrons. Here, they use the earth itself. Pomegranate skins for gold, madder root for blood red, indigo for the midnight blue of the desert sky. The wool and silk are boiled in these ancient recipes, locking in colors that will never fade. Now, look at the loom, a vertical world of tension and mathematics. The weavers are often young, with fingers so nimble they move like lightning across the warp. Each knot is a choice. A single Samarkand silk carpet can contain over 1,000,000 knots. It is a slow, meditative labor. A masterwork can take a year or lifetime to complete. The patterns are not random. They are gul, the flowers of the desert, gardens that you can carry into your home. To a nomad, a carpet was his entire world rolled into a cylinder. As the artisans work, they sing ancient chants that keep the rhythm of the needles. It is a symphony of color and sweat. In Samarkand, the merchant sells the dream, but the artisan builds the reality. As the shadows lengthen over the workshops, the sun sets, and the heavy gates of the Caravanserai swing open. Exhausted travelers seek refuge, their camels laden with the very goods we've seen born today. Join us in the next chapter as we enter the sanctuary of the night, the Caravanserai. Chapter 3. Night at the Caravanserai. As the sun dips below the horizon, Samarkand transforms. The turquoise domes fade into silhouettes of deep violet. The heavy timber gates of the Caravanserai groan shut, locking out the desert's danger. This is the sanctuary, a high-walled fortress designed to protect the millions in silk and silver resting within. In the central courtyard, the air is thick with the scent of smoldering embers and roasted fat. First, the camels, the weary engines of the Silk Road, are finally unburdened, their heavy packs hitting the dust. They drink deeply from stone troughs, their guttural groans echoing against the mud brick arches. Now, for the men. In the shared kitchen, the plov is rising, a mountain of rice, lamb, and golden carrots. It is more than a meal. It is a ritual of brotherhood. Here, the Chinese merchant and the Persian guard share the same plate. Steam swirls around faces weathered by salt and sand. For a few hours, the road's hierarchy disappears. Listen to the cacophony of voices. This courtyard is the world's first global internet. Information is the most precious cargo here. News of wars in the west or droughts in the east travels faster than silk. A whisper over a cup of green tea can crash the markets in Rome or trigger an invasion in Chang'an. In the shadows of the upper galleries, deals are sealed in a dozen different dialects. Not all who stay here are merchants. Spies, diplomats, and mapmakers hunt for secrets. Trust is the rarest currency. Merchants sleep with their hands on their daggers, even in the sanctuary. Outside, guards pace the walls under the moonlight. But as the night deepens, the tension softens. The Hakawati, the storyteller, takes his place by the fire. He speaks of jinns in the dunes and cities made of glass, myths that weave the east and west together. Above them, the Samarkand sky is a canopy of diamonds. Astronomers use these nights to map the heavens and track the stars that guide the caravans. Silence finally falls. Each man dreams of home and the fortune that awaits if he survives. Tomorrow, the cycle of dust and profit will begin again. But Samarkand's power isn't just in its markets, it is in the divine. We move now to the final wonder, the blue pulse of eternity. Chapter 4. The Blue Pulse of Eternity. The dust of the road settles, but the spirit of Samarkand rises, higher than the mountains, closer to the stars. Under Timur, the conqueror who reshaped Asia, this city became a vision of paradise on earth. He brought the finest architects from every land he touched to meet in these blue domes. Look at the color. This isn't just blue. It is the pulse of Samarkand, a blue that breathes. Lapis lazuli ground into powder and cobalt fired in secret ovens create a shade meant to mimic the vault of heaven itself. For the Timurids, blue represented life in a world of dust and eternity, in a world of change. Step into the Registan Square, a triangle of divine mathematics. In Tilakari, the gilded one, gold leaf meets turquoise tile in a dance of absolute opulence. Inside its dome, thousands of gold-painted stars spiral upward, tricking the eye into seeing infinity. This was a university of the spirit, where science was considered a form of prayer. Ulugh Beg, the king astronomer, sought God in the movements of the planets from these very gates. But Samarkand's beauty is also a whisper of mortality. Move to the Gure Amir, the tomb of the conqueror. The dome here is like a frozen turquoise wave, covering the man who once shook the world. Inside, a single slab of dark green jade marks his rest. On his tomb, an inscription warns, "When I rise from the dead, the world shall tremble." Yet, in the Shah-e-Zinda, the street of the living king, you see a softer side of eternity. A corridor of sapphire tombs, where each tile is a love letter written in geometry and light. But time is the ultimate conqueror. In the 15th century, the pulse of Samarkand began to slow. New ships found the sea, and the Silk Road became a path of ghosts. The blue tiles began to flake and fall into the dust. For centuries, Samarkand was a legend, a dream shared by travelers. But legends do not die. Today, the city has woken up as a sanctuary of human history. The camels are replaced by high-speed trains, but the scent of the bazaar remains. The artisans still polish the paper, the weavers still tie the knots. Samarkand reminds us what it means to build for forever. It tells us that when cultures meet, we create miracles. This was the true prophet of the Silk Road, the shared soul of humanity. As we leave these blue domes, remember the merchant. His journey was long, but he saw Samarkand, and that was enough. For in this city, even the stones have a memory, and that memory belongs to all of us. Thank you for walking this ancient path with us. Until our next adventure, farewell from the jewel of the Silk Road, Samarkand.